Hey guys, welcome to the shop. And if you've been here before, welcome back. We are back from a long 6-month hiatus, vacations, life events happening, lots of stuff to get into. We got a new project car, but I think it's only fair that we bring you up to date on what's happened in the last 6 months. Stick around. So once we got done with cruise week, the Monte Carlo made it down and back just fine. The Malibu made it down and back just fine. That was the smoothest ride I've had in the Malibu since I've owned the thing. It's probably because I took 400 pounds off the front end and took the big block out and put the LS in, and I put power steering on it. So that made, excuse me, I'm fighting a cold. That made all the difference in the drivability of the car and getting the front end to work the way it's supposed to work. After that, we were kind of burnt out a little bit between shooting and editing and everything else, and family time was kind of slipping away the past year with the shooting and everything. So we went ahead and decided to take a little bit of time off. Went through the summer, went down. We did our family vacation in July, which it's our 4th of July vacation. We all take 10, 15 days off and have our family vacation. After that, life kind of happened, and we had 2 funerals to go to. Once we got done with that, Dave was planning to get married in November. So once funeral number 1 and funeral number 2 happened, we kind of had to get right into the planning. And, planning for a wedding right after a funeral is kind of, you're in a weird spot. But we got through it. Dave's wedding went off without a hitch. Everything went great. I got to wear a kilt. I was very happy about that. And I got to be the best man, so I was very happy about that. So we got through the funerals, got through the wedding, got through the summer, started getting our equipment together to put out the next video for the Monte Carlo, because we actually have a video for the second part of the AC install. I don't know what happened to the GoPros. I don't know what happened to the cameras. I don't know what happened to any of the SD cards. All of our equipment got missed for like a month. I had no idea where it was. And then out of the blue, my wife comes in one day and she goes, "Hey, I found this black case in the back of my car. Is this yours?" I look in it and there's all the GoPros and all the equipment. I don't know. I want to say that, I know what happened, but I don't. So once my wife found the GoPros, we were back in business. So what we were doing for the 6 months while we weren't filming, because it was kind of touch and go through the whole summer and into the fall, we went ahead and got the wagon painted. So she's painted a brilliant color of Rust-Oleum white. We did it all with like 15 cans, I think. We did it with Rust-Oleum white, and then we went ahead and cleared the whole thing and buffed it, and I was really surprised how well it came out. So kudos to Rust-Oleum. And they're not paying me to say that. That's the paint I used, and it turned out really well. So, credit where credit's due. So after we got the wagon painted, I finally got my 40 back from Dave's, because it was over at his shop, because we had the Monte Carlo and the wagon in the shop at the same time, because it was just easier to work on it. When I got the 40 back, I had it for about 3 days. I took it to the gas station. Some guy at the gas station saw it, liked it, and he made me one heck of an offer. I wish I could say that I was resilient and told him no, but I said yes. As you know, when we got that 40, it was a basket case. We gave it a second chance at life. It runs and drives. The guy was very excited to get it. Him and his son were looking for a project that ran and drove, and I could fulfill that need, and it's going to a better home. It's going to someone that's going to finish fully restoring it the way it needs to be done and making everything right. Because we kind of rushed it and got everything together, and yeah, it worked, but there were still a lot of things that needed refined on it, and that's what they're going to do. So I'm very happy for them. They were happy to get the car, so I know it's in good hands. So now I got a little bit of cash. Just burning a hole in my pocket. So I started looking for another car. I didn't want to get anything too nice because I wanted me and Dave to actually be able to work on it. I love bringing cars back from the dead. And the worse they are, the more Dave hates it, but he loves doing it. So it's like it's a love-hate relationship. He hates it when I do stuff like that, but he loves working on it. So it's a win-win, hate-love type deal. So we got the Bel Air. I went all the way down to Stephens, Virginia, or Stephens, Virginia, to get it. It's like 3.5 hours away. So I rode down there with my wife to grab it, got it up on the trailer, the guy gave me a hell of a deal. I mean, he really did. It was one heck of a deal. Got all the chrome to go with it, the seats and everything. She's rough. She is really, really rough. In this scenario, I took Mike Finnegan's advice and I bought the worst version of a car that I want, that I could afford. I've always wanted a 57 Bel Air, and if you're a car guy, a real car guy, chances are this car is probably on your list too. I have models of it, I have toys of it, I've always wanted one, now I got the real version. And even though she needs a lot of work, she's going to be great when she's done. So I went down, got it, brought it back, got it into the garage, started looking underneath of it. It needs floors, rocker panels, doors, fender, I mean it needs a lot. So I think what the best bet we're going to do is, it's way too much work to get done in the few months that we have before spring cruise week in OC for 24. So I think what we're going to try to do, I think we're going to try to get it going for fall cruise 24. I think that's going to be our best shot. The only reason I'm saying that is because we also have a lot of work to do on the wagon. We got a lot of work to do on Dave's Monty. We got my wife's Camaro, and to enter the mix, we have Dave's sister's Camaro. She wants to get engine swap and a few things done to it. And on top of all that, I still have my 1940 Chevy two-door sitting out back. And I was going to put a big block in here. The big block that we took out of the wagon was actually going to go into the Bel Air. But I think the best bet would be to take the big block and put it into the 40 Chevy. We're going to take the 400 turbo out of the Malibu, replace that with a 4L60 so I can have that extra highway gear for the 6.0. Bolt that 400 turbo up to the big block and put that whole power plant into the 40 Chevy that is sitting on an S10 frame. Then the 5.3 LS that I have is going to get an overhaul at some point, and at some point it's going to go into here with the fuel injection. Yes. But for right now, to get the thing in and out of the shop, I think our best bet is to get this. I think it's a 283. I'm not 100%. It's 283 or 327, one of the two. I don't think it's 350. We're going to get this running and driving, at least so we can pull it in and out of the shop. The brakes need to be taken a look at. The tires, the back tires are dry rotted. I mean, bad. They hold air. They held air this entire time. The front two that I switched out don't hold air to save my life. So we got to deal with that. Figure out the brakes to make sure it stops, and get the motor running. Now, a couple things that we did off camera was we already replaced the intake with a high-rise intake that I had laying around, because it had some old steel junkie on there that it was only a 2-barrel and was all plugged up and bleh. But yeah, get this thing running and driving, well, running and stopping, so we can pull it in and out. Then switch gears, work on the Malibu, work on the 40. Figure out the Camaros, figure out the Monty. It's going to be a busy season. So thanks for sticking around. We're going to try to throw some parts at this thing and get it running. Okay, so the start of any project is disassembly. The valve cover's got to come off, water pump's got to come off, radiator's got to come out, and the carb's got to come off, because we're replacing all of that. So we're going to get into it.
Okay guys, so different day. Vince is at work, but we need to get some stuff done on this. So what I want to start with doing is I think I want to try to get this water pump on. I may also try to work with the fuel pump, the radiator. I don't know what we're going to get done, but we're just going to keep busting on this thing and see if we can get it at least running and stopping so we can get it moved in and out. So let's get into it.
Okay, so now that we got everything hooked up that needed to be hooked up and all brand new shiny parts on old rusty metal, which is just how I like it, we went ahead and put the water pump on, got the alternator set straight, put the belt on, got the transmission lines hooked back up to the radiator, new clamps everywhere because they were all rusted out. The carburetor was a major fire hazard, so Dave went ahead and cured that with some new gaskets and some new nuts and bolts and prayer. But it looks like it's going to run. Everything looks the way it should look, well, at least for us, when we get ready to test fire. Distributor went in, yeah, with a little finesse, but it's in. Spark plug wires are hooked up, and yeah, everything is out of the way that needs to be out of the way, and everything's in the way that needs to be in the way. So we're going to go ahead and see if this thing doesn't fire. Fingers crossed.
All right, screwdriver? No, that blue wire just touches to the positive.
Ready?
Yep.
we got her firing on all 8. Now it's time to get her to stop on all 4. We're going to reuse the old master cylinder that's been on the car since 1957, because why not? I'm actually hoping that we'll have pretty good luck with this, because the brake actually functions the way it should, and it moves up and down on its own accord without any hesitation. It does have some corrosion and some junk on the inside here. We're going to go ahead and vacuum that out. Then we're going to put some brake fluid in it and see if we can actually get the brake fluid to go through the master cylinder down to the wheel cylinders. Once it gets to the wheel cylinders, they're going to be replaced. How do I know they're going to need replaced? Because they haven't been replaced since 1957. They're done. So I went ahead and I placed an order online, and I got some brand new wheel cylinders, wheel cylinder lines, and all the hardware I think that we need to mount it up. And if we really have to, I'll use a clothes hanger, I don't care. But the goal is to see if we can have brakes at least on the front. Fingers crossed. So underneath this protective coating of dust and grease, there is a rubber grommet back here that's sealing up the bottom peephole that will allow me access to the actual adjuster that adjusts the brakes. Because right now, that thing ain't rolling. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the rubber padding to get back there to the adjuster to separate the brakes so that we can actually get the drum off and put the new wheel cylinder on. There's like grease and dust and like parts of dead animals. Okay, so just like that, in a few days' time, we got the Bel Air running, driving, and most importantly, stopping. We went ahead and replaced the throttle cable linkage, which actually is what holds the throttle cable to the carburetor. Got the new radiator in. We had an old water pump laying around. Actually, I think it was from Dave's Monty when we did the V6 Serpentine Drive swap. Threw his water pump on, and just out of a miracle from the car gods, the alternator started running again after 20 plus years, and the brake master cylinder. So we went ahead and replaced the wheel cylinders also, some brake lines, when I say some, I mean all, and the wheel cylinders in the back. The passenger side gave us a little bit of trouble, but Dave took the almighty fire wrench and was able to make that dream a reality. On top of that, once we got the brakes actually working and functioning and the motor running and functioning, we threw these very lovely American Racing star rims on. They might stay on the car, they might get switched out, I don't know. I really just got lazy and I got tired of pumping up the old tires every time I wanted to move the car around. So these actually hold air, so that's a win in my book. I kind of like the old school vibe it gives, so they might stay on. I definitely got to get some new center caps. I see a lot of guys, they run Kragers. I don't have a problem with Kragers, I love Kragers, but I had these laying around and they were free. So that's definitely another plus in the win column. You know, anytime you're doing a car like this and you're doing it on a budget like we are, you definitely need to kind of watch the pennies that you spend because they add up. Now, the money that we saved from not buying rims and tires will be spent on the next project on this car, which is going to be, drum roll please, floor pan and rocker panels. So stopping is an important aspect to any driving experience. Not falling through the floor is a close second. And this metal is paper thin, so it's got to go. I don't know where we're going to be ordering the floor from yet. We're still looking at a couple places, but I think what I'm going to do, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can either order it piece by piece and do one section at a time, then you have to add in all your cross bracing and kind of piecemeal it together, which from what I can tell, that's a lot more work than what I'm willing to get into. The other option is there's companies out there that actually make the full floor with the cross pieces and everything underneath of them. Now it is a bit more expensive, but when you start adding up the hours that you're going to spend making sure everything is square when you're piecing it together, it is well worth the money just to invest into a solid floor. On top of that, the car is going to get way more rigid and structurally sound with the one piece. So I think that's the direction we're going to go. Once we get that done, we'll kind of have to see where we're at. I definitely want to do some suspension work. The glass has got to get fixed. Once we get the floor in, we definitely had to start seeing what's next. We're going to try to get this to Cruise Week in 24. I don't know yet. It's one of those things where we're just kind of play it by ear and see how it goes. But so yeah, that's the budget Bel Air. So more projects to come. I gotta tell you guys from the bottom of my heart, I'm so happy to be back filming again. It's definitely been a wild ride this past 6 months. Apologize for the heater. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you.